pretty damn successful Zootopia too! Yeah, for all the sequels and remakes and reboots that we're getting from Disney, this and Inside Out 2 are pretty damn good follow-ups. While I didn't like this quite as much as Inside Out 2, I did think it really kept in the same spirit of the original, and both of them are series I like to see continue for different reasons. And in this spoiler review, I'm gonna go into more detail. Yeah, just putting it out there, there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. I'm gonna give away everything in this, so if you want a review where I don't do that, go watch my vlog review. Once again, you have been warned. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are back, played again by Ginnifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman. Only this time they're teamed up as cops, but they oftentimes seem to cause more trouble than they prevent. The chief tells them they have one more chance to get their act together, and they even go to like this couples counseling for partners. That's some of the best writing in the movie. But when they find out a snake named Gary, played by Ke Huy Quan, is apparently out to steal the secrets of a weather machine that keeps the weather all over the place in the city for different environments for animals, our two cops have to worry less about getting fired because they've been framed. Mysteries are revealed, relationships are built, and I immediately called who was behind it all. Yeah, as soon as this Pauber character appears, I literally turned to my wife and said, he did it. It's funny, because in the first Zootopia, I found it was pretty difficult to figure out who was behind everything. I found it to be a legit, interesting mystery while also having a lot of obvious, but still very clever commentary. With this one, the commentary is still good, but the mystery of who's behind it all is so painfully obvious. I mean, the minute this guy comes up and he's nervous and he's getting along with Judy and he's just such a worrywart, I'm like, okay, this is being drafted like the guy you want a reaction when they reveal he's the secret villain. And you know the family is too obvious and the mayor is too obvious, especially because they just reveal early on that they're up to no good too. And you know the other characters are designed and written to sell toys and be fun comic relief, so it's obviously him. But the nice thing is that's not the only mystery. The main mystery of the movie is finding out what the backstory to this weather machine is. And this is what I was talking about with the commentary earlier. You see, I kind of didn't want what a lot of people are doing with commentaries that I talk about over and over, which is very one track, very one note, one for one. This means that it can't be interpreted any other way. This one doesn't have a ton of layers, but it does have a few. It's something that can only be done in this universe with different types of animals. And yes, it obviously leads into different cultures trying to live together and how the ones that are more powerful will crap on the ones under them or even steal from the ones under them. But it isn't like the weather machine equals one thing or the snakes equal one thing. There can be a variety of different options they can represent. At the heart of it is Judy and Nick, who I will argue probably have even better chemistry in this than they did in the first one. And I did enjoy them quite a bit in the first one. I like the idea they were opposites in the first film, and yes, they helped each other out because they had different advantages, but now that they're partners, they have to be on the same page more than they can't be. There's a lot of challenges to that. Sometimes the film gets a little heavy-handed with that, or spelling out its message very directly over and over, but the scene where they drop that little carrot toy pen, which doesn't sound like it would mean anything at all, but in the context of this film, I legit felt very bad, not just for it falling and breaking, but for the reaction afterwards. It's perfect. They didn't have to say anything, just the action alone and the expressions alone said all you needed. At times, I wish there were a few more moments like that. Like I said, they do spell out things quite a bit in this. And I do also wish the comedy was a little bit more consistently funny. And I had a slightly similar issue in the first film. I did think the first film really worked because of the commentary and the characters and enough of the comedy, but I wouldn't really say there's a lot of laugh out loud moments. In this movie, there are quite a few. I really did chuckle pretty loudly at some moments, especially when they throw a little shade at themselves, making fun of the fact that they're doing sequels and prequels and remakes and reboots in a sequel that's a little hypocritical, but at the same time, I'm kind of impressed Disney let it pass. I feel like the humor of the movie can be summed up in this Nibbles character, played by Fortune Feimster. And I love Fortune Feimster. Her stand-up is great. I've even seen her in a few film roles where she does pretty good, but this is the type of character we've seen a lot. Someone who's very perky and upbeat and doesn't know she's annoying and is just not gonna change her way, and that's what's so lovable about her, and all that is fine, but you gotta make her funnier. And there are a handful of good laughs where I don't say, man, I find her annoying, but there need to be more consistently funny writing to justify her being here. I did feel a lot of the jokes worked that way. In fact, if I had to count them out, my guess would be there's probably more jokes that don't work than do. But when they don't work, apart from the occasional groaner, you know that they're throwing so much at you and it's so creative and so imaginative and so full of energy that you're gonna get a laugh soon. If one fails or the second one fails or the third one fails, you know a fourth one has to get a pretty decent chuckle. And I think part of that is you do feel a legit enjoyment of people working on this. And I don't know the background of this movie. I don't know if it was a great production or a bad production or somewhere in between, but it just feels like with all the background jokes and foreground jokes and people throwing out ideas and you know they're just constantly saying yes, yes to all of them, there's just a joy of making this, a joy of being in this world and continuing the story and even telling a different story with new characters. I'd say the only main character that's probably a little underdeveloped is Gary. He's not bad and he's played well, but I feel like the personality is just nice. He's just nice and determined and that's it. And I feel like for such a great design and such a great actor, they should have given him a little bit more to chew on. He's got a good backstory, but even that backstory is more connected to his family, not necessarily him personally. But where the film really shines is creating moments you'll remember. I seem to recall watching this film and being a little thrown off at the fact I wasn't laughing as much as I probably should be, but then when I look back on it, I thought of all these great scenes. I remember the reptile room, I remember the chase in the little water tunnels. I remember climbing the mountain, I remember the ball. I remember the subplot with the gangster, I remember that weird name Patrick Warburton would keep making as the horse. There's so many things in this that do stand out. Even if it isn't as consistent as it should be, there's more than enough that leaves an impact with you. Even though I can't say it's top tier for Disney, there's just such a likability to this world and these characters. That smirk on that fox is so infectious. I just love every single time he smiles. It's just a great snarky design that matches the actor perfectly. So yeah, even though it's lacking in surprises and the humor could be touched up a little bit more, what does work is incredibly memorable, and it goes past just a handful of moments. There really is quite a lot of creativity in this. With that said, what did you think? Did you think this was better than the original and it went far beyond what it was trying to do and you want to see more of these movies? Or do you think it's worse, it's another sellout and Disney is just trying to get another quick paycheck? Or do you think it's somewhere in between where there's a lot of tropes you recognize, but you like these tropes and you always love revisiting them? Let me know your thoughts and I guess I'll see ya on the next Prowl.